Hey friends, and welcome to this new video dedicated to Garten of Banban 9. Today we're going to talk about two very interesting characters who will make their debut in this chapter, and I'll give you some hints about what we can expect from them. The first character we'll talk about is Brushista. She will be really important in this chapter because she will be the main mascot of chapter 9. Brushista is inspired by an anteater and has a super catchy design, and just by looking at her we can guess that she will have a central role in the story and gameplay. We'll talk about her possible behaviors, the scenes where she might appear, and how she could interact with the other characters in the game. I can already tell you, Brushista will also have a certain mystery that makes her really fascinating. The second character we'll talk about today is Uni Balooni. He will also have an interesting role in the game, and there are already some theories about what he might do and some scenes where he could appear. I'll tell you the most likely possibilities and which twists might be linked to him in chapter 9. Before we start discovering all the details about Brushista and Uni Balooni, I remind you to subscribe to the channel and hit the like button. This way you won't miss any updates on Garten of Banban 9, theories, previews and new videos about all the characters coming up. So, without wasting any more time, let's start talking about Brushista and everything we know about her. So, let's start talking about Brushista, one of the most mysterious and interesting characters in Garten of Banban 9. She makes her first appearance in the ending of chapter 8, but in a very enigmatic way. In that scene, we only see her long tail moving in a dark room, without fully revealing her appearance or intentions yet. So, let's see quickly this scene.
Then, the anteater enters the stage. She moved like smoke, silent, choking, inevitable. And I quote her, "You need me as much as I need you. Trust me." Now, the rules change.
Even though her appearance is brief, Brushista utters two fundamental phrases that seem to have a huge meaning for the future of the story. The first phrase, she says that the rules will change. This phrase already makes us understand that something big is about to happen in chapter 9. What rules? And above all, who was setting the rules until now? It's clear that until this moment, Syringion and Queen Bouncilia controlled the city and the kingdom. But now that both of them are gone, the situation has completely changed. The second phrase is even more enigmatic. She said that, "We will need her as much as she needs us." Here Brushista sends us an ambiguous message. It seems to suggest a relationship of mutual interest between her and the protagonists, but what exactly does it mean? It could mean that while we will need her help or her knowledge, on the other hand, she can benefit from our presence to get what she wants. If we analyze the context, everything makes even more sense. In the past, Brushista painted the pictures for Syringion, and this shows us that she was probably submissive to him, at least until that moment. Her art and obedience guaranteed her a role in Syringion's system, but now that Syringion has been eliminated, a power vacuum has formed. And actually, it's not just one, there are two, because Syringion was the head of the city, while Queen Bouncilia was the queen of the kingdom. With their deaths, both positions of power have become vacant. This leads us to think that Brushista might see this as the perfect opportunity to emerge and take control. Not just a subordinate or supporting figure anymore, but a protagonist who could occupy the place of both the deceased. Her phrase about the rules changing could indicate her intent to restructure the world of Garten of Banban according to her own rules, becoming herself a central and influential character in chapter 9. In short, Brushista is no longer just Syringion's painter. She is a character who could decide the future of the entire city and kingdom, and her appearance in the ending of chapter 8 prepares us for a role as a true protagonist in the new chapter. Will she be an ally, an enemy, or something completely unexpected? This is what we all can't wait to find out. After analyzing the mysterious phrases that Brushista says at the end of the previous chapter, we can finally start building some really interesting theories. When she says, "We will need her as much as she needs us," this line suggests something very important. In chapter 9, there will likely be a pact between us and Brushista. This won't be just a random meeting but a real alliance, at least at the start of the story. We must also remember that the official title of chapter 9 is Last Ticket to the Abyss. This title tells us a lot about the possible theme of the new chapter. It will probably take place in the darkest depths of the facility, a level even lower and more mysterious than anything we've explored before. The Abyss could hide huge secrets, new characters, and above all, dangerous threats, and to reach it, we'll need someone to guide us, and this is where Brushista comes in. According to many theories, Brushista knows the path to reach the abyss better than anyone else. She could be the only one who knows how to cross certain areas, open secret passages, or deal with creatures lurking in the depths. But of course, nothing comes for free in Chapter 9. If she helps us reach the abyss, she will definitely ask for something in return. And this is where things get really interesting. We still don't know exactly what Brushista wants, but here are some possible theories. She might ask us to help her recover something that belongs to her and is hidden in the abyss. Or she could want revenge against someone living deep down below. Another theory suggests that Brushista wants to gain control over something powerful in the abyss and that we are just a tool to help her achieve her goal. But be careful, this series has taught us that nothing is ever what it seems. How many characters in the previous chapters looked like allies but ended up betraying our trust? This is why we must consider a very important possibility. Brushista might not be trustworthy. At the beginning of Chapter 9, we might work side by side with her, trusting her guidance and accepting her help. We could explore dangerous areas, face terrifying creatures, and even survive thanks to the information she gives us. But everything could change suddenly because Brushista might have an unstable personality. Don't forget that many characters in this series have a traumatic past, and their unstable minds influence their decisions. We could eventually face a huge revelation near the end of the chapter. Maybe we'll discover that Brushista had a secret plan from the very beginning and that she used us to reach her real objective. At that point, she could betray us, turning into an unexpected enemy and forcing us to fight her or escape to survive. In this sense, Brushista might become one of the most complex and unpredictable characters ever introduced in the saga. She wouldn't be just an ally nor a declared enemy. She could be an ambiguous figure, driven by her own interests and capable of completely changing roles throughout the story. And if this theory turns out to be true, then Chapter 9 could become one of the most dramatic and twist-filled chapters ever. Brushista could start as our only hope to reach the abyss and end up becoming our greatest threat. Now let's talk about Uni Balooni. As the name suggests and as we've seen in his mural, Uni Balooni is a character clearly inspired by a balloon. His design is unique and very different from the other mascots. He looks light, fun, and almost playful, but as always in this series, we should never be fooled by appearances. The most interesting aspect of Uni Balooni is his balloon-like nature. And here comes a very fascinating theory. He could be one of the most useful characters in Chapter 9, especially considering the title Last Ticket to the Abyss. As we mentioned earlier, Chapter 9 will probably take place in the deepest, darkest layers, the abyss, and this leads us to an important hypothesis. After going down, we'll have to climb back up. And to return to the surface, we might need Uni Balooni's help. Being inspired by a balloon, he might have the ability to fly or make us float upwards. Imagine a gameplay sequence where, after completing our mission in the abyss, we have to face a long ascent through vertical corridors, suspended platforms, and dangerous areas. This is where Uni Balooni could come into play as a temporary ally, helping us reach inaccessible zones and overcome obstacles that would otherwise be impossible to cross. This introduction of new mechanics, like assisted flight, could make Chapter 9 much more dynamic and varied compared to previous chapters, increasing tension and creating unique gameplay sequences. Thank you so much for watching the video until the end. You are amazing. Let me know in the comments what you think about this. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell for the next video. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.